Hi, I'm Donna, and my channel is My Simple Retirement Journey, and I talk about everything I do in retirement, and I hope you'll enjoy what I have to say. Right now in September, I have a little garden, and the tomatoes are tomatoing. I enjoy making salsa, so I've been cooking down tomatoes, and I think tomorrow I'm going to can them. I found out you can cook down the tomatoes and keep them in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 days before canning them. And I don't have quite enough tomatoes to bother canning, but I will tomorrow with the tomatoes I picked today. Hope that makes sense. and and that's just the season of life I'm in right now. Early September. I'm busy doing the little gardening things, and another season of the year I'll be doing other things. So I hope people realize that when I post a lot of gardening pictures for the next couple weeks or so, that's not all I do. I do lots of other things. So hang in there. If you don't want to watch a gardening video, wait a couple weeks and stop by and say hi again. I have some channels I watch. There's one lady I watch, and she talks about 2 different topics. And the one topic I don't have any interest in at all, but I know she's going to talk about specific topics on specific days. So the days she talks on what I'm interested in, I enjoy what she has to say. I hope you understand that. So last Saturday, I started freezing some of my veggies. I posted the video today. I videotaped it last Saturday, and I didn't get it out today. But last week, went to the senior food harvest bank, and I got some food that I couldn't eat within a couple weeks. They were big peppers and some corn on the cob. So I decided to freeze them and put them in my freezer. And that's what gave me the idea that I needed to organize my freezer a little bit better. So I went and bought shelves, so I knew where everything was and it wouldn't go to waste. So that was my Saturday. And I wanted to talk a little bit about my allergies. I haven't been on YouTube much this week, and my seasonal allergies have been pretty bad this season. And normally the last 2 weeks in August and till about the first or second week in September, I'm kind of miserable. But this year it's been miserable times 10, I think, or miserable squared, however you want to look at it. And I just haven't had any relief. I take everything I'm supposed to. I have a prescription, and the doctor's given me things I should do. So I do those. Just wasn't working this year. And I started having problems with my ears, which was a new symptom. I don't want to go into it, but my ears were clogged up. And I went to the doctor on Monday, and he said there wasn't anything else he could do for me. And I started crying because I was so miserable. And I think I was shocked. And my regular doctor wasn't there, so I saw a different doctor, so he didn't know me from Eve. So I think he didn't know what to do. He got this little old lady sitting there crying. I wasn't sobbing, but I was teary-eyed. So we came up with I could take 2 Advil every 4 hours, up to 24 milligrams, 24 something. So, and then we discussed giving me prednisone, but there's side effects to that. So we agreed I should try the Advil for a few days. If that didn't work, I could take the script into the pharmacy. So on Tuesday, I took the Advil all day. I felt great, ran around the house, got stuff done. Wednesday morning, I woke up and was like, oh. Just felt awful. And then Thursday afternoon, I decided to get the prednisone. So I went to the pharmacy and they said, well, you have to take it first thing in the morning. So I started it yesterday and I feel a lot better today. Today I wouldn't drive around much. I wouldn't go on a major highway and drive down the road. I'm just not quite all there. So I know my limits. I did run to the grocery store. I drove a mile away and I picked up some groceries this morning, but that was it for me. So anyways, that's my sad story. I try to be a positive person. My daughter bought me a HEPA filter. She ordered on Amazon for me, and because she asked me, we were talking about it, and she asked me, and I said, there's so many different brands out there, and then they tell you when you buy brands, some of the retail filters cost more than other ones, and it was just kind of over my head, what to pick. So she generously bought me one, and that came to the house yesterday, and I think that's helping a lot. So I'm very thankful that my daughter was kind enough to help dear old mom out. And other things that happened this week, this one's kind of tough. I'm my emotional support chicken. This is Henny Penny, and this is her companion, Cluck Norris. And I've been going to a new church lately, and I'm familiar with faces, but I don't know many names. And I do know there's one man, I think he's about my age, around 60-ish. And somebody told me he has brain cancer. And I thought he'd had a stroke, but he has brain cancer. And anyways, towards the end of church, there was a little bit of commotion going on, and he slumped against his wife. And I don't know what happened, but I thought he was dying. It was pretty sad. And in a situation like that, you want to help somebody. And I don't know anything about medicine. I just knew, I think God was telling me, just sit here and pray. And that's what I did. And I think a lot of us were in there praying. And he did not die. A few minutes later, I noticed he was sitting up normally and he was drinking water or something. And they didn't call an ambulance, but they helped his wife get him in the car and he went home. So that was pretty upsetting. And I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but I got to thinking, if you're going to die, what a great place to be in a church with fellow believers praying you to get into heaven. And that was kind of a special moment. And then, fast forwarding to Wednesday, of course, we all have heard about Charlie Kirk. And this young man was plucked from the earth because somebody didn't like him. And I don't want to get political here, but I think that's a pretty basic story. And I think we're all hurting, and not only for him and his family, but I think we're hurting because there's so much dissension in our world right now. There's there's the Democrats and the Republicans, and when I was growing up, I don't remember which party Tip O'Neill was. He was the Speaker of the House, and they'd argue, and I don't know if he was in the Congress or Senate, but they'd have their arguments, but they all went out for beer after Congress was let out. You wouldn't dream of doing that today. And I just hope and pray that this incident has opened people's eyes and say, hey, we're all on this planet together, and we're going to have to learn to agree to disagree. Just because you hate somebody and they're not doing anything illegal, you shouldn't go around shooting people. And if you've got some mental issues, I hope and pray that people around you that love you can take you aside and say, I think you've got some problems here, and do it lovingly. and get them some help. And I know I'm using the they word, but some people keep their hatred to themselves and nobody knows, and they won't seek help, and there's nothing we can do about it. I hope I'm not going around in circles here, but I'm just, I know people hurt, and sometimes they target people they don't know, and I just struggle dealing with that. So anyways, and with the Charlie Kirk thing, I'm a bit of a news junkie, but you know, anytime there's a crisis, it's just overkill, and I want to hear the facts in the beginning. You know, I think we should know what happened, but I don't want to hear, well, he said this and he said that, and I know there was a rumor going around that his wife was pregnant, and that was quickly squashed, and it's just, you know, let's quit adding all the drama on top of the drama. Let's just deal with this sad situation in a respectful way. And if you don't like what I have to say, you're welcome to leave my channel. You don't have to stay. And you can say goodbye. You don't have to say anything, but please don't be hateful about it. If you don't like what I have to say, go find a channel that you like. I started watching a channel. I watched one lady. I'm not going to name her name. And Trump had done something recently that I agreed with, that I didn't like. Let's put it that way. I didn't like it. And somehow I found her and said, oh, she thinks just like I do. So I started watching her. And it turned out this one incident was the only thing we agreed on. And did I go, I hate you, I'm never going to watch you again? I thought, no, I'm just not going to watch her channel anymore. We don't agree on the majority of things. But she has a huge following. And she's entitled to her own opinion, and I respect that. So, how do we move on to lighter subjects? I have some notes here. I took my glasses off, and now I can't read them. Let me look here. Oh, one thing I did do is I have Frontier Internet, and my phone bill went up $15 this month. So I called on Tuesday, and I talked to the lady. She was really nice. In fact, we got to talking. Hey, if you give me an opening, I'm going to be talking. And I do ask, especially in a business phone call like that. I say, if I'm talking too much, you just tell me, because, you know, I like to talk. And so she got my bill down. It went up to $66. I was paying $50. It went up to $66. And then she lowered it to $42. I said, is that before taxes? And she said, no, that's with taxes. And one thing she told me, I told her I've been a loyal customer, and she looked at my record. Well, I've had an account with them since 1979. So I said, I think I'm a loyal customer. And I told her, I said, I like your service. I said, I could go internet shopping, but I like what I've got. But the price is too high. And I told her I didn't like having to call in every 12 months to renegotiate my loyalty discount. So she kindly lowered my bill to $44. Oh, and I told her I was over 65. I like to throw that in too. So she threw that in. And then she said, oh, you have an outdated security plan. I was paying $15 for it. And she goes, I can lower it to $10. I said, okay. And I said, you just raised it $3 a month a few months ago. She goes, no, we didn't. So after we hung up, I went back and looked at my bills. And sure enough, in February, it went from $12.99 to $15.99. So yeah, it did go up. So now it's $10.99. And anyways, I'm kind of glad we have I have a 36-month plan at $44.92, or is it $42.92? I don't remember. To go from 60-something to 40-something is pretty good. What else did I do? I'm going to have to put my glasses on here real quick. I felt good on Tuesday. That's what I wrote down. I wanted to talk about books. And I got a book in the mail this week. What did I do with it? It's so special I can't find it. Oh, here it is. I watched a few channels. I watched more than a few. And this lady, I love her. I found her early this year, and her name is Ruth Ann Zimmerman. And she just published a book. It's called The Heart of the Homestead. And she is, I was thinking about her this morning. She's such a neat lady. Her and her husband were old order Mennonite. They were kind of like the Amish. And when they were 27, they put their children into a Christian school. The Mennonite church didn't have a Christian school, so they put their children into a Christian school in the community, and they accepted the Lord. And so they decided to leave the Mennonite church. They do modern things. They have a car and everything. But her and her husband both love the farm life, and they have a 22-acre farm. And she has this beautiful garden. I was doing the math. In the book, it said she had an 8,000 square foot garden. And my little garden in my backyard is 800 square feet. And I have 2/10 of an acre. So I thought, well, how many square feet is in 2/10 of an acre? And her garden is bigger than my whole property. So that gave me some perspective how big her garden was. But I just kind of like her philosophy on life. They value family. They love the Lord. And they just, their lives are centered around family. I know I already said that. And she talks about the simple life. And I've heard this before. And the simple life means they don't, how do I want to put this? They don't live by their cell phones and technology. Their life is hard. You know, gardening and raising animals and raising children is hard. But there's a simplicity about it. It's yearly and seasonal, and it's a intended routine. And I'm kind of I find that appealing to want to slow down life a little bit. So that's just something I throw out there. So I ordered her book, and I ran some numbers because I have books from several YouTube channels. And her channel, there's two channels that are bigger than mine. Her channel's 321,000 subscribers. And I don't know how long she's had a YouTube channel. And the next person, I got a book from her a couple years ago. It's Jessica Sowers, Roots and Refuge Farm. And I don't watch her anymore, but I still like her. When she started her channel, they had, 7 or 8 acre farm. And she's just a delightful person. And she's got this beautiful laugh, and she loves her gardening. Well, anyways, the channel grew and grew and grew, and they were able to buy a bigger property. So they moved out of state. I forget. I think they live in, I want to say they live in Georgia, but that doesn't sound right. So anyways, they moved to a bigger farm, and then her farming experience got bigger than mine. You know, they have several cows, they have horses, they have goats, they have chickens, and I just have my little 100 square foot garden in my backyard. But I enjoy gardening, and I learned a lot from her. So I bought her book when that came out. And then the next one, I still watch him. I love this guy. This is called, the guy, the title of the book is The Autopilot Garden. And he is MIGardender. He lives in Michigan, so MI stands for Michigan. MIGardender, and his name is Luke. And he has 1.3 million viewers right now. He started off, again, in his backyard. Well, actually, he started really getting interested in gardening as a teenager. I don't remember the whole story, but he started collecting seeds, and he just grew his business organically, and then he started his YouTube channel, and he is a respected seed buyer, a seed seller. He has a whole website and everything. And I like him because he's just down to earth, and whether you have a small garden or a huge garden, he can answer your basic questions. And the last one, believe it or not, is not about homesteading. And I don't watch her. Well, her stories change too, but I like her stuff. This is called The Budget Mom, and it's budget by paycheck. You can buy the digital, which I did, or you can get the spiral, the hard copy one. And she got married, about 3 years ago, and they had a little baby. He's 2 now. And she isn't on YouTube as much as she used to, but she sends out she sends out weekly emails, and she has good topics. And every week she has a free digital thing you can download. And what was this week's? I don't remember. I think it had something to do with children. I don't have children anymore. But she always has a week, and some things are interesting. Like coming up, she'll have a menu planner for Thanksgiving. I know she'll have a free menu planner, and she'll have Christmas ideas. But she's a good resource, and I like her. In fact, on the printed ones, that's why I got the digital. You can use it over and over and over. This is let's see if we can get it right. It should be, hang on here. This is Sunday through Wednesday, and this is Thursday through Saturday. And I write down, I don't really want you to see my numbers, but I do use it daily. And I rate on the top, like on the first of the month, I've got something in green, which means it's money coming in. And if it's not in green, it's money going out. So it kind of helps me chart what I do. And last Saturday, I don't mind showing this, but last Saturday I took $120 out in cash. And I spent $65 at Menards. And then I went to three garage sales. And then I have a Microsoft account, Microsoft 365, and that's $10.69 a month. And I put gas in my car. So I kind of jot down what I spend every day, and it helps me keep track. And I think, I'm not going to say when, but I get Social Security once a month. And the day that I got that, I put down the balance of my checking account when I receive my Social Security. So, and the reason I'm bringing all this up is I think, I don't know whether to leave that in or not. I like to help out the little guy, and some of these, well, now that I have a small channel, I know we put our heart and soul into promoting our channel, and some people write books because they're knowledgeable about what they're talking about, and I know them personally, and I know they're going to write a good book. So I will buy a book from, I guess you call them a content creator. And I just wanted to mention that I would rather buy a book from them than from John Doe off of Amazon. And it kind of brings a sense of community. And speaking of sense of community, if you like this channel, if you like this video, please click on the like button. And if you so inclined, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps my channel. If you like it, the analog, the powers that be out in the internet, say, oh, Donna's got a good video here. We're going to let other people know about it. And I'm going to pause real quick. Had to get a quick drink of water here. So anyways, that's my story on we all, birds of a feather should flock together. And if we like what somebody does, we ought to give them an encouragement and help buy their products if we think it will be worthwhile for us. And I know a lot of people they sell merchandise. They have cups and t-shirts and stuff. And honestly, I don't do that. But if I can use something tangible like read a book or learn how to budget my money better, I will certainly buy that. I'm sorry. And I have one last thing I wanted to talk about. I think I mentioned this about a month ago. I think you could see better if I do this. I grew two avocado plants from their avocado seeds. And what I did was with the avocado seeds, I read if you put them in a baggie and put water in the baggie, they will root. Well, both of them did. So here's one of them. They're both alike. I didn't want to bring both of them in. But both of them, they got really long stems. And I think the stem was it was about twice as high as this one. And I knew whenever it got leaves, it would flop over. So I went on YouTube and I looked at 3 different channels to make sure they all said the same thing, and they did. And they said, I don't know if you can see real well right here. I'm not sure how this works. I can't tell. But if you cut right above this little nib thingy, if you cut it here, then the little nib thingy, it knows that if the stem gets cut off, it will start a new stem. So here's one here and one here. And I think, there's one down at the base and it hasn't done anything. So I cut these about a month ago and I was hoping I didn't kill them. And about a week ago, I noticed that these 2 little stems were starting. So I was kind of excited about that. And I have no idea how long it'll take, but hopefully my little avocado tree will be fruitful, and it probably won't multiply, but it'll be fruitful and have some leaves on it. And on that note, I know times are kind of bad right now, but sometimes a little pruning, excuse me, I think it's about time for me to quit talking. Sometimes a little pruning in our lives, in our habits, can bring some positive growth. So I hope we've all learned from the sadness of the week, and we can all learn to be healthier, happier, mentally, spiritually, and physically better people. And I'm thankful my allergies are subsiding, and I look forward to talking to you on another day. So God bless and hope you have a good weekend. Bye. Hi, I'm Donna from Simple Retirement Journey. I have my support chicken with me today. They're kind of cuddly, and if things get really bad, I have another one. I have a backup. This is Henny Penny, and this is Cluck Norris. He's got a fuzzy on top of his hair. What do you call that? A comb? I don't know. I think the comb is the bottom part. I don't know. If you know what the top of a chicken is called, this is a wattle. Maybe this is a comb. If anybody knows the anatomy of a chicken, let me know.